When an airline's operating a new route or their own aircraft aren't quite suitable for the destination, sometimes they will lease an aeroplane from another airline. For example, last year I flew with Brussels Airlines on board the Sukhoi Superjet in just such an arrangement. Well, today I'm heading back to Belgium. The Sukhoi Superjet is gone, but I will be flying Brussels Airlines except on board an Air Nostrum leased aircraft. Welcome to Edgington Airborne. Let's get going.
Check-in for Brussels Airlines flights can be found with fellow Star Alliance members Lufthansa and Swiss on the ground floor of the terminal near door B. As usual, I had no luggage, so I just grabbed my boarding pass and headed straight up to departures. If you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that Birmingham is my local airport, and I've travelled through here many times over the last 12 months. So for this flight I decided to treat myself and paid a visit to the No. 1 lounge. First impressions were good, and I liked the styling of the area. Soft drinks were self-serve, but you could request something a little stronger at the bar, and the lounge does offer breakfast made to order, but I chose to skip this and opted for some pastries. There's additional space upstairs if required, and some very good views of the apron as well.
So, very quick tour around Birmingham Airport this morning. The No. 1 lounge, for me it's a nice place for a bit of relaxing time away from the crowds, but I don't think I'd pay to visit it again particularly. There's certainly not enough in there to keep me entertained anyway. It's almost time though, let's go and find the aircraft.
This CRJ1000 operated by Spanish airline Air Nostrum is one of 4 that are being used by Brussels Airlines on select routes, but Brussels Airlines of course do have a number of their own aircraft. The all Airbus fleet includes the Airbus A319 and A320 for the majority of their flights, and for long haul routes Brussels Airlines operates the wide body Airbus A330. Now before we take a look at what to expect on this particular aircraft, let's see what it will cost you to fly on this route. The Brussels Airlines website offers a handy fare calendar showing the cheapest available flights, and on this occasion that was just £57 in about 2 months' time. However, you can see that the fares a little closer are much steeper. The website is very clear and easy to use, and in economy you can choose from 3 fare classes, with the more expensive fares offering additional benefits such as hold luggage and seat selection. Now let's take a look at the onboard experience, and this CRJ1000 has 100 seats in a 2-2 layout. The cabin is quite narrow but relatively comfortable, and each passenger has reading lights and air gaspers in a panel above your head. I do like the design of the window shades on this aircraft, and the windows themselves are quite large, offering really good views. There's one toilet at the rear of the aircraft, which was incredibly small and definitely not designed for taller passengers.
So it's that part of the flight, we're well on our way to Brussels now. Let's take a look around the seat area that you'll find on board the Air Nostrum CRJ1000.
As you would expect, Brussels Airlines offer seat selection when booking, but do bear in mind that there may be a charge for this depending on your fare class. The seat on this aircraft is a fairly standard design, and near the top is where you'll find your tray table. I was quite surprised at how much space it provided, as I did expect a little bit less. The tray table is quite sturdy, but it's not adjustable. There's a single space for drinks provided on the right hand side of the table. Further down the seat is where you'll find your seat pocket, which contains a safety card, in-flight magazine and your menu for buy on board items. There's also a good amount of space available for personal items. Speaking of space, I was very impressed with the legroom on the CRJ1000 and found the seat very comfortable overall. And here you can see the seat from a slightly better angle. It was very nicely padded. Let's take a look now at some of the literature provided, and the Be Inspired in-flight magazine you'll find a range of articles to pass the time in flight. There is also information on the Brussels Airlines fleet, including their aircraft featuring special liveries. And if you've not visited Brussels Airport before, you may want to take a look at the arrival information provided. Of course, there is also a route map showing a selection of the destinations that the airline serves. Your seat pocket also has a copy of the onboard menu. When flying in a lower fare class in Brussels Airlines, there are no refreshments included in the price. Instead, you can purchase from a selection of items on board. The range was quite good, and hot food is offered on longer routes. There's not long left of the flight now, and if you've enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to subscribe for future reviews here on YouTube. You can also follow my travels as they happen on social media. Details of my accounts can be found on screen now.
I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. It's nearly time to land in Brussels, but don't forget to stick around at the end of the video for my final thoughts on today's trip. Enjoy the landing.
It might get a little bit bumpy on the approach, but nothing to worry about. Thank you for your attention and have a good day.
So, welcome to a pretty grey and dreary Belgium today. This is the part of the video I share with you my final thoughts on today's trip, and we'll get going in Birmingham. As I said before departure, it was a nice change to visit the lounge today in Birmingham. Usually I don't visit these, and it was decent value for money, but there wasn't really enough there to keep me entertained. So, as I said earlier, I'm not in a rush to visit it again, but it's a nice place to get away from the crowds. The flight itself then, well, this is my second time on board a CRJ, first time on board the CRJ1000, and my first time on board Air Nostrum, operating on behalf, of course, of Brussels Airlines. It was okay. Now, this flight isn't going to be one that I'm going to remember for a long time. The flight itself, well, the crew, they were pretty friendly, not very present in the cabin, but I kind of get why, because it was an early morning flight. A lot of passengers seemed just to want to catch up on a little bit of sleep. The seat itself, well, it was relatively comfortable, good leg room, but because it's a small aircraft, it's quite narrow around the shoulder area, so you're pretty close to your fellow passengers. And that toilet has to be the smallest one I've ever seen on an aircraft so far, as you saw in the video. A little bit cramped for somebody about 6 foot tall. Because it was a quick flight, I didn't try any food or drink today. Do bear in mind there are different fare classes on Brussels Airlines, and me travelling on one of the lowest fare classes, you do buy on board the items, but it looked like a good selection. So overall, would I choose fly Brussels Airlines again? Well, yes, I would, but I'm not going to rush to. There's nothing bad about them, but nothing, as I said, particularly memorable either. I do think there's probably slightly better airline to try around Europe if you can. But if the price is right, certainly I would go for it. Thank you very much for sticking around till the end of the video. As always, please do leave me some feedback in the comment section below. I do read all the messages that I get. Of course, you can also give me a like, and if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for weekly flight reviews. And as always, take care.